from 1 July, I'm very pleased to say that the 4 square metre rule will apply for all indoor venues. That means all venues which currently have upper limit restrictions will have no restrictions, so long as those businesses comply to strict social distancing guidelines and the checklist that's been outlined through Service New South Wales. It is so important for businesses to make sure they comply with the strict guidelines that have been put in place. That means that medium and larger size venues can obviously increase their capacity according to the 4 square metre rule. But we also have to stress that all activity in these businesses, obviously, apart from retail when you're going in and buying something and coming out, but if you're going somewhere to have dinner or to partake in other activity, it has to be seated. We know from overseas experience that it's when people mingle unintentionally or when there's certain activity where the virus spreads. So all that activity in the hospitality venues needs to continue to be seated to make sure everybody is safe. That 4 square metre rule also applies to places of worship. So places of worship which are medium or larger size can welcome more people. However, the 4 square metre rule has to be strictly adhered to, as well as other guidelines which New South Wales Health has signed off on. I want to say that in relation to funerals on compassionate grounds, the 4 square metre rule will apply, but that'll be applied immediately from today, because we appreciate the angst in the community over funerals, and with the exception of funerals, everything else will apply from 1 July, but for funerals, the 4 square metre rule will apply from today. I also want to stress that existing restrictions on the number of people coming to your home or outside gatherings remain, so that 20 number inside your home and outside gatherings remains, because we know that when a number of people in close quarters have a lot to do with each other over a prolonged period is when the virus is more likely to spread. So for those reasons, health is recommended, and we've accepted that 20 number inside the home and for outside gatherings remains. Another positive easing of restrictions from 1 July relates to large outdoor venues. So if there is any organised event outside, and I want to stress organised event with ticketing and seating, up to 25% of capacity of that venue can be utilised for an event. It can be a concert, a music event, a sporting event, and that is for venues with 40,000 capacity and lower. So a 40,000 capacity venue can potentially have up to 10,000 people if it is done with those strict guidelines in place. Social distancing, ticketing, seating, and a whole range of other checklists with which health will be able to communicate to those organisations. So we know that for everybody it's not viable, but for those organisations or sporting or community or cultural organisations that feel that this can make them viable, we encourage them to get their plans in place and to proceed. We're very pleased to be at this place, but we do so with enormous caution. We know that just a few cases in the community, just a few cases which go unchecked, can cause a spike, can cause a breakout, and can cause grief for people. I want to thank everybody for coming together on the journey so far. And we ease these restrictions from 1 July with a great degree of caution. This will only work, this will only succeed if people stick by the rules. And I'm so grateful that 99.9% of the population has been absolutely fantastic during this process. It's because the community has come together and stuck together that we've been able to get to where we are, and we really need this to continue. I don't want to see us go backwards. I don't want to see us have to pull back on anything that we've eased. So what will work? This will only work if all of us continue to stick together, and I urge everybody to do so.